Your first name is?
Dan Cowan.
And Dan, you are a physicist.
Retired. Physical science, not a physicist. My
Okay.
degree's in physics, but I did physical science. I never worked as a physicist. I worked as an engineer.
Okay. And you were doing, by the way, you've been in the Relax Sauna. I put you in for 8 minutes. How did it feel?
Feels awfully nice. I could go to sleep if I didn't have other things I needed to do.
And I was explaining something about resonance, and you
Right.
gave me one of the best definitions I've ever heard, because the way I say it is the Relax Sauna generator, it took them 10 years to figure out how to narrow the frequency to 4 to 14 microns. So all of the energy resonates with the water molecules in your body, which vibrates at 8 microns, and the human body vibrates at 9.4 microns. And that's, I said, causes increase in body temperature.
Right.
So explain resonance to the audience.
Well, resonance is essentially a joining together of two separate objects by creating a standing frequency in each one that matches the other. So that when you put when the two come together, energetically they form one object. And as far as nature is concerned, it only recognizes the energetic entity. So if you have a little piece of matter on the right and a little piece of matter on the left, and they both are resonating at different frequencies, then they will not have any effect on each other. In fact, they'll probably move apart based on their phasing. But if they're actually resonating at the same frequency, what they want to do is they want to come together into one particle to express that single frequency, because they are the frequency as far as nature is concerned. So when you create a resonance, you're joining two things together that normally could not come together and join as one. What you're doing with this is you're putting out the frequency that is the fundamental frequency that we use when we heat water.
Yeah.
In here, and that's why it heats the water as effectively as it does. If you had used different frequencies, you'd have to wait for heterodyning and harmonics to arise from all of those things, so that you might get that frequency that actually resonated that molecule correctly. But since you go directly to it, you cut to the chase and don't have any of those delays. So so resonance is essentially a way to take two things and join them together so that they become one thing. And by breaking the frequency, you can split them apart. You can control matter coming together and moving with that. You can levitate with that if you use sound waves, acoustic waves. You can literally levitate. And that way you can bring things together with sound, or you can move things apart. You can do work with it. So it's a real physical, significant, and important process in physical science, resonance. It's the fundamental process. In fact, without it, you couldn't have molecules and atoms, because all a molecule and an atom is a standing resonance of several different frequencies that have all reached a standing wave mode, and they stand in one place together, and we call it matter. That's all it is.
So we have the Relax Sauna radiator. I'm going to move over and take a picture of it right here. That's the Relax Sauna radiator, and then that is basically shining against the silver, acts as a mirror, and so it hits the mirror, bounces off, and at the speed of light. So within about a half a second, this is like
A lot quicker than that.
a lot quicker.
Anyway.
It's like it's filled with invisible light that we can't see.
That's right.
And every time it bounces off the wall of the tent,
it's absorbed into the molecule. The molecule then begins to vibrate to express the heat. And after a while, if there's nothing else around it, it will eventually dissipate some of that heat and slow back down into a lower state. If there's another molecule around it that is excited at the same temperature, before they dissipate, they'll try to come together and form one entity, and then they'll start to dissipate. If there's more, then you can keep it going for a long, long time.
And so the water molecules in your body,
they start to vibrate at their fundamental frequency.
Yeah.
And that frequency causes heat. And because they're surrounded with other molecules, they entrain those and induce a resonance in the molecules on both sides of them all the way around.
And Hippocrates said, "Find me a way to create fever or sweat, and I will cure disease."
Okay.
So this will increase the body temperature?
This increases the body temperature. You can feel it, and it does increase the sweat and everything. And of course, it does, like you said, infrared, particularly if you're looking at far infrared.
Yes.
It's very penetrative. The lower the wavelength, the more it penetrates. So it's very penetrative, and if you find the right frequency that actually is the fundamental for the water molecule, and it happens to be a low frequency, then
Yeah.
you've got both your bases covered.
So the Relax Sauna took 10 years to perfect, to filter out all the energies that didn't
could have done it
resonate
in
with
a
the
week.
water. Huh?
We could have done it in a week.
You could have done it in a week. Okay. Well, anyway.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
They
You can use filters just to filter things out. Now, what I'm saying is that you don't have. Yeah, it depends on the level of it, who was working on it, and what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I should say that.
And they use semiconductor chips. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, well, I mean, I do know a lot about
Yeah.
semiconductors, but it depends on what you're going to use them with.
Okay.
Everything we build is with semiconductors.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So if you're using those as your oscillators, that's very good. That's what I do all the time. I'll use just a standard transistor, and we'll just bias it, and we'll stick it onto some kind of a little rotating thing, and by that I mean electronic.
Right.
And what it'll do is it'll open and close that transistor, which acts then as a switch to open and close very large currents and circuits and voltages that could pass through the transistor. So a little teeny tiny thing can oscillate a very large charge.
So you know what? So you understand how this works.
Yes, I design circuits and stuff like that.
Well, it's a pleasure. We're at the Extraordinary Technology Conference, and we're in Albuquerque, and you live here, and you're retired, and you came, and when I heard you describe resonance, I said, the world needs to hear this.
Okay, well, we'll see if the world cares.
Okay, and you enjoyed the sauna.
Oh yeah, very much.
How do you feel besides great?
I feel you feel more energetic. I think it actually does make you, even though it relaxes you, I think it gives you a quiet energy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you really want to snooze like I was joking about, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. But it doesn't slow you down like when you eat too much and you get a little tired.
I know that.
Yeah, right. Okay. So no, I think it does exactly what you said.
Okay, and they can find out more about the Relax Sauna at relaxsaunas.com, Relax Saunas with an
They
S.
talk to you.
Oh, they can talk to me. They can call me on my cell phone, which is 626-200-8454. And your name was Dan?
Dan Cowan, C-O-W-A-N.
You were great. I appreciate it so much, and you can come back and do it 2 or 3 more times.
Okay, I probably will.
Okay, thanks so much, Dan.